From the world of AV programming and control with James King, I'm Steve Greenblatt, and this is Ask the Programmer. James, how are you today? I'm looking forward to a conversation that we are going to have with another guest from our LinkedIn community.
I'm doing well, Steve, and yeah, always great when we can have a guest come on and share their information with us. And you know, these tend to be our better episodes. So, people don't want to hear us talk, they want to hear our guests talk.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Sadly, we have to uh, say that we're not as interesting as our guests, but that's okay. That's why we do this podcast, and I think without further ado, we get to introduce John Smith. He's an AV solutions programmer at New Era Technology. Welcome back, John.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for being here. And if you didn't catch last week's episode 259, John gave a little bit about his background and how he came to be in programming and talked about how he had set himself a goal to become a certified programmer and how he's growing from that. And one of the great things that James and I like to talk about is that programmers who put themselves out there typically tend to be rewarded, and John did that, and we were put out a post looking for a guest and also somebody on short notice, and he raised his hand and said, "I'll do it." So, John, tell me a little bit about what you get from maybe some other ways that you put yourself out there and where you're active and what benefits you've gotten from it.
Yeah, so one thing being is I mean, Crestron, their new communities, what do they call it? The True Blue communities or whatever, that is a great resource. I'll post on there with questions I may have. Another one is the Facebook group, the Crestron uh programmers on there. And there's one for QSC and all that. And there's all kinds of resources in there. I think about everything that I've ever been stuck on, I've been able to find
Hmm.
either in a Facebook group or um there's one more groups.io or something like that. I think it used to be the Yahoo communities back in the day, but the it pretty much a Google search will find me anything I need, and it'll always end up in one of those three places. And it's anything from how to control a device to how to make a symbol work and simple windows and I mean anything I ever need, that's I can find it in one of those three places. So and if it's not there, all I have to do is post, and somebody's always very willing to help. We talk about sometimes about isolation, right? And people may not be willing to help other people, but always on there, people are incredibly friendly. So I like to see it.
That's excellent. It's almost, have you built connections with people through that?
I have, yeah. So there are some people that I talk to regularly through there. And I mean a couple of them have actually worked for us, have started working for a New Era since I've talked connected with them on there. And so that's been kind of fun. And they've moved on since then, but we've stayed connected through those groups, or so it's been good.
That's excellent. Those are great success stories and great tips. I think it's something that we encourage a lot, and it probably happens more than we know. But just that it's a very close-knit community that's almost undercover. That programmer. These aren't people that are posting on social media necessarily to get attention or to create followers, but more so doing it purposefully.
Yeah, yeah, and I think it's really nice having a place where like you won't get judged posting on there, right? People aren't gonna judge you for not knowing how to do something. People are always just they're very understanding, and they'll share their knowledge, and if it helps you, great. If not, then maybe it'll give you a place to start.
Hmm. That's really excellent. Um, James, I think it's pretty encouraging to hear more of this, and and that's one of the reasons too we're trying to bring programmers together. A lot of times these forums are specific to a brand or to we're doing a specific type of like HETMA is a higher ed group and so forth. But we're getting all programmers together. Hopefully, also provides value, and that's what the Ask the Programmer podcast was based on, and what we're trying to do as a community. But we're what are some other added value that you could see coming from this?
Uh, Sorry about that. I think John covers pretty well. You networking with folks, you know, the job connections, the helping each other out. I do think there's a what's the word I'm looking for? Like a false narrative out there that, the programmers especially are not friendly people, that they don't want to help, but they do want to help. And John even mentioned, like, build connections out there and are helping each other. So I don't know where this false narrative is coming from. Maybe, it's integrator company versus integrator company. And then yeah, you see that on the public side where, behind closed doors, they're like, hey, let's help each other out. I don't know where this false narrative is coming out because everything I'm finding in AV world, programming wise and others, is everyone's friendly, everyone wants to help each other, share information. So yeah, no, I definitely think that's really what people want. And you can see it in the communities as they grow. There's so many popping up. Each manufacturer has their own. Then we have our LinkedIn community group. So there's definitely avenues out there to reach out and get help. And hopefully people are not falling for that false narrative.
Yeah, I would I my thought on it, and because I've seen it become a label, is that a lot of programmers, they're introverts and they like to keep them to themselves. They're quiet, they're guarded. They are not necessarily the ones that are going out saying, look at me," and so that can produce a label of being um, not being friendly or not wanting to share, and you just have to ask sometimes. A lot of them, and I would agree too. I've experienced times where some will hold information close to their vest because they may have they want to make sure that they're giving it out to the right types of people, and that the people are warrant it, let's say. But John, one of the things that with our group, and what we're trying to do is just bring more attention to the value that programmers provide. Are you seeing that increase? Are you seeing programmers become um, getting more respect and becoming more notable?
Yeah, absolutely. I know in the past, it's always the programmer's always just kind of been the person that comes in at the end and makes everything work. And they may not talk to you, but they're there, and they're the ones making it work. But I think people are finally starting to realize maybe kind of what it takes and what the job entails, right? And that we're not just there pushing buttons on the on the keyboard, and that we're there to help and there to there to just do what we can, and help others learn and help ourselves learn, and it's all for the customer, right? And so it's not just for I lost my train of thought. Not just for our benefit, right? It's
Yeah.
to help. So, and I think people are starting to see that. So,
Is there anything that you can recommend to people in terms of how they can get more involved, and how and some things that they can do? I know probably the tip is just start and do it, but how do you Like when you're starting out, you probably don't know what you don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And the only thing I can recommend really is just find somebody and ask, and and like you said, just try, So, and I mean that's the first step, right? You gotta just try. But yeah, just don't be afraid to ask. So if you're curious, ask.
Yeah.
So I'm most of the people I've worked with in the past or work with now, they are more than happy to answer questions and we like I I like to think that most people like to share their knowledge and don't want to keep it close to their chest, but at least I don't. How about that?
Sure, sure, which is great, and that's what we're trying to help to promote, and because there are just a lot of people that are the only one in their company that do what they do. So having an outlet and having a way to connect with others is really key.
Yeah. Yeah, and I totally understand that. I mean, I am like in the previous episode we talked about that I'm part of a team of four, but the Crestron side, I am the only person that does it in five out of our 10 offices or whatever. So they I'm the only person they interact with. So if they don't ask me, then there's nobody else to ask. So it's it's I understand the may only be one person doing something. So
Sure. You mentioned that programmers are willing to help and that they have a lot of knowledge and they are getting more respect. Are you finding that you're able to um, have a bigger voice within your company in terms of being able to impact designs and so forth?
yeah, yeah, actually. So New Era, one of our big thing is bid projects. So like I've actually been involved in the bid process and helped with our counts and that kind of stuff. And people ask me how long I think things are going to take and if I would recommend this product over this product. And I mean and that has been quite the turn in just the last few years. So I I think something is changing. I'm not entirely sure what it is, but I think maybe people are finally starting to see the programmers of the world,
That's
but
great.
I do think people understand we exist now. So
We've talked a lot about having a seat at the table, and James, I don't know if you can share more insight from your side because I know that it's a little different, kind of being on the client side, but how can more programmers get a seat at the table?
That's always a challenging question is how do you get a seat at the table? And that is, coming and showing your value, making sure that when you're at the table, you are a valuable member at that table. You're not throwing things down just because, you don't want to do it. You're doing what's best for the client and the end user and how can we save money? How can we do this more efficiently? All those things, keeping the bigger picture in mind. It's not just about programming, especially when you're sitting at the table about a project. Um, you know, yeah, if you can get your seat at the table, you really got to show you where your value is showing, hey, I can cut costs if we do this. Hey, if I was there early, we could have caught this a little sooner, gone through that. Things like that is the way you show your value.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. The it come offering, your positive thoughts before you offer negative thoughts per se, like and negative being, this won't work or this is not a good not a good approach, but come offering value and positives. Um, John, what's maybe something that you've been able to get out of being active in these in groups that you wouldn't have expected?
um honestly um just the wealth of people that I feel like I can reach out to if I ever need something. Like, I mean, there's countless people that I feel like I could just send a message to and be able to ask a question directly and not have to post and all that stuff, and just the lines of communication that that just exist because of the people that I've been able to connect with. So
Yeah, that's great. I wonder how much the manufacturers understand that and see the benefits of it, and because it really truly has a positive impact on them because you're getting information, you're getting answers, you're making products work, and you're also not tapping into their technical support.
right.
Um, well, this is yet another great conversation, and any things that you wanted to share and closing thoughts, or tips for programmers that are looking to either get more involved or that may be struggling.
Yeah. I mean, I said it before, but just don't be afraid to ask. Don't be afraid to post. Don't be afraid to Google something because it might make you look weak or just don't be afraid. That's about the only thing I can offer.
Sure.
So
Just just another question that came to mind when you're saying Googling stuff. How valuable has have you found AI to be?
um it has led me in the wrong direction more than once, but but I mean it's always there. It's always the first thing maybe to use just as a spot checker. And the Google they throw it at you right when you search it, right? So
Yeah.
it's always there, but I don't know. I'm probably on the wrong side of the coin on that one where I don't necessarily trust it.
Sure. Well,
But
at least you know enough to be able to know when it's not giving you the right answer. And I
yeah,
think that's a key part of it.
yeah, absolutely.
Well, thanks again, John, for being part of our show, and hopefully we'll get to uh, have you interact and help us to create more connection within our group and maybe use that as a place that programmers can go to find answers and connect with each other. Um, until then, how can people get in touch with you, learn more about what you're up to, and get in touch with New Era Technology?
LinkedIn is the best place. I'm Jonathan Smith on LinkedIn, and New Era is on there. We have offices all over the world. So that's LinkedIn is just the best place. So
Fantastic. Well, thanks for being with us and look forward to speaking with you more. James, any closing thoughts and how can people get in touch with you and continue this conversation?
Uh, Closing thoughts. Again, what John said, ask questions. Don't think, oh, your questions are so minor because you never know where they can lead to. Someone might not have thought of it. And we all start out somewhere. I mean, let's think about it. We all had to learn how to walk. People then discourage us from walking. We had to, fall down, ask those questions, get help from others, our parents, our friends, or, family help us learn to walk. And now we take it for granted. We don't even think about it. That's why you want to ask people who have been doing for a while. They don't even think about it, but they can help you. They can help guide you along. Again, if you want to get a hold of me, Google me, you'll find me. I'm out there.
Excellent. And I was just trying to think of how I learned, and I learned a lot from mentors and people that were that that I was able to ask questions to that sat next to me, but the world's changed. I mean, I'm talking sadly many years ago, 30 that is. So it is different and it's changed in a positive way in that you can connect with a lot more people that have a lot more knowledge and there's a lot more experience to be had, and there is a place for everybody to be able to to find information. So, and I love the idea that you can actually build relationships with people through connecting online, because that's to me what this is all about. And you know that's what keeps people in this industry, is having those types of connections and developing friendships. So. For me, you could reach me at Steve Greenblatt on social media. LinkedIn is the place that I'm most active and where I'd recommend having AV conversations these days. So our LinkedIn group for Ask the Programmer is a great place to talk about our episodes, talk about programming, meet each other, make connections, and so forth. So please, if you're not part of that, join that group. It's free to join, and we look forward to having you there. My company, Control Concepts, is a supporter of this podcast, and we build some of the components that help programmers succeed, whether you're integrating with different products or adding functionality to your system. You could find that out at controlconcepts.net. If you are watching this podcast on YouTube, you can listen to us on your favorite podcast player. And if you're listening to us, you can watch us on YouTube. Either place is a great way to share an episode, leave a comment, rating, review. We'd really like to hear from you. And we'd also like to know what you want to learn more about. So reach out and let us know. James and I are very approachable. And as John knows, it's just all you have to do is raise your hand and you can be part of our show. So we'd really like to connect with you and hear from you. And until next time, this has been Ask the Programmer.